Hi guys, this was a very interesting call. So a man named Malcom phoned the Ben Kentish show on LBC where he was complaining about asylum seekers not wanting to work. Now it was presented to him the fact that, well, they're not allowed to work, and then Malcom started talking about how some of them are working. The same people that he interviewed himself who don't want to work. An absolute car crash of a call. Have a listen to this.
I'm not a racist. I'm mixed race myself. My father came over here from Ghana when the wind rushed. And the more I hear and everything else, it's so sad. And if we're not careful, we're going to have civil war here. 4-star hotels, which we are paying for, they get £49 a week, which is coming out of our money. These people have not put anything into this country.
That's because we don't let them work.
Pardon?
That's because we don't let them work.
No, the thing about it is, a lot of them they don't want to work.
How do you know? Have you asked them?
Yes.
You've asked them?
Yeah, hold on a minute.
Go on, how many asylum seekers have you asked whether they want to work?
There's about 15 of them. This is what they've told me. It's a lovely country. We're staying in a lovely hotel and stuff, and they've got bicycles and there's Uber, like delivering food and all the rest of it. I don't know how they get paid for that. But no.
But you've just told me they are working even though they don't... So they don't want to work, but they are working as delivery drivers.
No, you're not listening.
I am listening. You just said two different things. Malcolm, you just told me you're talking to 15 asylum seekers who don't want to work while some of them are working.
No. Right. Some of them are...
Make your mind up.
Can you just let me explain, please? I asked about 15 and they said they're working. I think it's cash in hand.
So why did you tell me your words, these people don't want to work?
No, a lot of these people come over here, they don't want to work, they want an easy life.
Based on
our
what?
Taxpayers.
Because you've just told me you've spoken to 15, most of whom were working. So what's your basis
but they're
when they
working
don't
illegally.
want to work?
They are working illegally.
That's not what you say, is it? But the reason, why do you think they're working illegally, Malcolm?
Well, because it's easy money. We are paying them.
No, it's not because it's easy money. It's because they're not allowed to work legally. So they have to work illegally. Well, I'm not saying it's right, but that's why they're working illegally, because they can't work legally. These people who, quote unquote, don't want to work.
The people who don't want to work are working, doing deliveries, but they don't want to work. Okay, well, which is it, Malcolm? Where does Malcolm get his information from? Probably from GB News or the Express newspaper or from Nigel Farage directly. I'm not sure. But see, this is part of the problem. People have been fed a diet of tripe over the last number of years. First of all, the point that they're staying in 4-star hotels. They're not staying in 4-star hotels. They cease to be a hotel when asylum seekers are moved in. They become basic accommodation. They don't have access to swimming pools. They don't have a menu. They don't have saunas, stuff like this. No, they have basic accommodation. In many cases, instead of one person per room, it's about 4 people per room. Because the people who are offering up these services, the ones who own these hotels or run these hotels, are making a killing. They're making a huge amount of money from the Home Office because the Home Office needs to put people in, and they're not going to have extravagant services because it would be a waste of money for the hotel. What they do is they provide the basic necessities and they fill the rooms with as many people as they can. In some cases, 4 or 5 people are in each room. This is not a 4-star hotel. When was the last time anyone stayed in a 4-star hotel where you had to share a room with 3 other strangers? So once again, this is not a hotel. But the other thing about they don't want to work. I've been saying for so long that so many of them do want to work. Unfortunately, if the Home Office does not permit them to work, they have to find other means. And there are jobs available, in part because of Brexit. But there are jobs available. British people either can't do them or don't want to do these jobs, and they have to be done. So the asylum seekers see an opportunity to make a few quid on the side. I did a video recently about somebody claiming, the media was claiming that somebody was making £6,000 a month. Didn't make a lot of sense, and we haven't heard much more about that since. If somebody was making £6,000 a month doing deliveries, I think we would hear a bit more about it. But these stories are being fed to the public via GB News and sometimes by people on LBC, unfortunately. Not Ben here, but there are other commentators who are happy to allow this sort of misinformation to get through. It needs to be challenged. Ben has done a good job here, pushing back. Why do you think that they don't want to work? How do you think that they don't want to work? Where did you get this idea from? They want to work in many cases. You've even said it yourself, because they're working illegally. Wouldn't it be better for them to be permitted to work, to join a union, to pay taxes, to contribute, as opposed to working in the black economy? Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.